Welcome back. We're looking at illegal migration now on Network Africa. Italian police arrested 15 African men suspected of throwing about a dozen Christians from a migrant boat in the Mediterranean on Thursday as the crisis of southern Italy has intensified. 41 more deaths were reported in a separate incident. Police in the Sicilian capital, Palermo, said they had arrested the men from Ivory Coast, Mali and Senegal after survivors reported that they had thrown 12 people from Nigeria and Ghana to their deaths and threatened other Christians. The 15 were arrested on charges of multiple homicide motivated by religious hatred. The survivors' account underscores the rising chaos in the Mediterranean, which thousands of migrants, many fleeing war and deprivation in the African continent, tried to cross in rickety boats in the hope of a better life in Europe. Around 20,000 migrants have reached the Italian coast this year, and the International Organization for Migration estimates that fewer have arrived in the first 4 months of last year, but the number of deaths has risen almost ninefold. About 450 people are now thought to have died this week after rescued migrants brought to the Sicilian port of Trapani on Thursday, and said 41 others traveling with them had drowned in the process. Well, joining us now via Skype, I believe, I'm being told now he's joining us via phone since we failed to establish connection via Skype. Ebu Adeburuwa is a lawyer. He joins us now via telephone. Ebu, thank you for joining us again on Network Africa.
Thank you very much.
Now we're seeing this case, this continuous case of illegal migration from the likes of Libya to Italy. But these trips are illegal in nature. As a lawyer, I'd like to ask you how more legal trips could be encouraged or enhanced in crisis-hit countries in order to maybe play down the number of people who make these trips.
Thank you very much. The concept of illegal migration, really, it should be a misnomer in the developing scenario we have across the nations. Because the reason that is leading to the migration has become now inevitable. In the greater parts of Europe and America, their population is dwindling, and then people are aging. Whereas in the parts of Africa, the population is increasing, younger people are coming up, there is explosion. So indeed, there should be now a cross-fertilization of understanding between the Western countries and the migrant zones where these illegal migrants operate from. Otherwise, because what happened on April 16 at Palermo, the capital of Silicon City, where policemen arrested 15 fellow Africans, but who are of a different faith, who have persecuted their fellow Africans while they were in the Mediterranean, should be avoided. Nobody should be persecuted by reason of faith. And the main thing that is causing this migration is war, deprivation, tribal and religious conflict, Ebola outbreak, climate change, overpopulation. These are things that we cannot help. So we should do away with the concept of illegality of migration, so that all states that are concerned, both the states where the migrants are living and then the areas where they are going to for greener pastures, should have exchange of legal documents that will open the frontiers for these migrants who ended up going there to give good labor to those countries. So I believe that should be number one, to ensure that documents can be verified from these migrants. Number two is that internationally, all states have an obligation to save the lives of others who are seeking help. Whether you consider them to be legal or legal, there's an obligation on every nation to save the lives. And Italy has done so much in this through the Mare Nostrum rescue effort, which they tag our seal. It's dedicated mainly to maritime sites for rescue migrants. And they have been doing this successfully until there was this conspiracy with the European Union that led to the scrapping of that rescue team, which was replaced by a treatment team from Europe, which they never funded. And that's what's leading to the exploitation of migrants by smugglers. So we should enforce the law to ensure that all nations discharge their obligation to rescue those who are seeking help. Then secondly, legally, all those local states where these migrants are going to or coming from should have local laws that will crack down on smugglers, because it is the smugglers that are taking advantage of migrants, exploiting them, collecting as much as $1,000 to transport them from Libya to Italy, to transfer them from Mexico across difficult mountains to America. So we should take it upon ourselves as human beings to ensure that we do not exploit people. And then number three, let us decriminalize these irregular migrants. Because if you don't make them look like criminals, they will help you to even curb transborder crimes by reporting the activities of these smugglers, so that there can be effective prosecution and policing of the smugglers that are exploiting these innocent people who are only seeking greener pastures because of poverty, because of deprivation, because of war, because of outbreak of diseases from their own countries.
Now, I really appreciate everything you just said, but it does seem like it might be a lengthy process. And what the United Nations is also saying is that based on what they're seeing, we're going to see a lot of more trips happen over this weekend, like between now and Sunday. From a legal standpoint, what do you think could be done in the meantime before all the solutions you've basically just given us right now?
No. You see, it's beyond the legal perspective, because there are legal options, surely, as you have said, one of which is that the United Nations should urgently need to implement through the International Organization for Migrants to ensure that all local branches of the IAM in all the states begin to open their doors for potential migrants to go there to regularize their documents. That is the first immediate legal option that we should take, because you cannot say it will take too long. Last year, estimated 5,000 people died from this process. And already this year, over 1,000 people have drowned or been thrown overboard in the course of this. So nothing should be spared at all. And I believe that the United Nations should convene a conference urgently to address the issue of the hatred and the discrimination that is leading to migration in all those conflict-prone countries, and then address the issue of xenophobia, whereby even when they have migrated, there is a lot of discrimination and hatred against these migrants who are living in other countries.
It's been a real pleasure having you join us on the program. Thank you so much for your input and your time. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That was Adegboro, who is a lawyer. He was telling us about how legal trips could be enhanced from countries like Libya via the Mediterranean to Italy. We'll take a break now on Network Africa. When we come back, we're going to be talking to a security expert to get another view about the situation. Please stay with us.